Miscellaneous minds, never explaining the minds. Devilish grin for my alias, aliens who respond. Peddling sin, thinking maybe when you get old you realize I'm not gonna fold or demise. I don't smoke crack, motherfucker, I sell it.
I'm not even thinking about doing Vegas now for Noche. After the way that whole thing went down, just left a bad taste in my mouth. We'll do Mexico. We'll go to Texas. We'll go to Arizona. We'll go to different places now for Noche. Vegas can have the boxing matches.
What is going on, everybody? This is the Biz Lanes Minds podcast. I'm your co-host, Boom Arigato, the cat that hands you your city back. And to my left over here is the main man, Jesus De Niro, the man that makes the fat snacks. Together from the dynamic duo that won't die, Deadly Anti-Isbel, and spicier content than your girl's OnlyFans.
What is going on, everybody? Before we get into tonight's topic, please make sure to like, comment, hate, subscribe, DM us about the bullshit, and with that, let's get right into it. So, as you guys saw just a second ago, Dana White, in my eyes, is kind of throwing a fit a little bit. He tried to take on Canelo for Mexican Independence Day weekend, and it did not go well for him. By all accounts, Canelo sold anywhere from $650 to $750K in pay-per-view buys. They sold out the arena, so on and so forth. Even though Dana White is saying, oh, we beat him, they're not putting out the numbers. To be fair, ESPN never puts out the numbers, but as you guys saw from that video, he's basically saying, oh, Vegas can have boxing. He's actually throwing in the towel. Listen, I think this is a major L for UFC because Dana White tried to play like all along like, oh, is Canelo also having an event this weekend? I didn't know. We booked ours months ahead of him. Knowing damn well, especially because he's a big boxing fan, as much as he tries to play like he's not, that was one of the two dates that Canelo generally fights on. So listen, it's a major L for Dana White. He tried, he missed, and the King took him out, and now he's getting out of town. What's a bigger L is for the man that funded it, Turki Alalshikh. Now listen, there's a number of different things that I've addressed in previous videos when it comes to Turkey. I've watched a couple videos with some known, and they don't try to hide it, Canelo Alvarez haters such as Paul Malignaggi, who even admitted, hey man, this is not a good look for Turkey. They lost to Canelo, whether they want to admit it or not, whether they want to accept it or not. It's an L. And someone who constantly hates on Canelo Alvarez, like Paul Malignaggi, for him to say something like that, it was a pretty well accepted victory on the boxing side for Canelo. Now listen. At this point, I told my man, we were discussing it a few hours before we decided to record. At this point, Turkey don't got anything to offer Canelo other than that money. Canelo's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Canelo's making anywhere from 35, and we actually ran the math from 35 plus million because he gets obviously 35 million guaranteed plus whatever some of the venues, some of the pay-per-view, and additionally, according to Canelo himself, 80% of it. If you buy a beer in there, I get 80% of it. Go watch that swear interview. That's what the man says. That being said, it's a interesting thing to think about that they poured $20+ million. They brought in Hollywood directors to direct, all the scenes that were going on in the Sphere. They had two title fights on there, so on and so forth. They really tried to go all out, and it didn't work. So, yes, I think it's a major L for Dana White and the UFC trying to go up against Canelo. I think it's a bigger L for Turkey because Turkey's been trying to dwarf everything Canelo does. In fact, when discussing before the UFC event, UFC Noche, Turki Alalshikh specifically said, we're going to eat him. How'd that work out for you, my man? Listen, at this point, if I'm being honest, pay the man. Just pay the man. Turkey wants to make a fight between Terence Crawford and Canelo, and even though I don't think it's a great matchup, just because of the weight difference, pay him. Drop him, 85, 100 mil. Drop it to him, the man will fight. And then if you want that Benavidez fight, drop him that 200. I think you could probably get 120 out of it, but that's just me. A lot of people are gonna say, "Oh, you're degrading Canelo." Listen, I've already gone on record saying that I feel like Canelo's ducking David Benavidez. But my thing is at this point, what else can you offer Canelo? What else can you offer him? If not money, what else can Turki Alalshikh offer Canelo? Really, and I want some actual answers. What can he really offer him? Nothing. He's already got the prestige. He's already making, again, 35 mil guaranteed plus additional pay-per-view back and so on and so forth. So what can you offer him if not a gigantic payday? You can't offer him anything else. Again, already first ballot Hall of Famer. The man doesn't care about anything else. He's already making a grip load of money. What can you offer him? This is a major L for UFC. This is a major L for Dana White. And the biggest of all, major L for Turki Alalshikh. What do you think about that, my man?
This entire event was nothing more than an exercise in hubris and avarice. And if you don't understand what I'm talking about, again, you were the one that explained it earlier. He brought in Hollywood directors. He did it at an experimental venue such as the Sphere, which again, any graphic that they have to do on the outside of the Sphere and inside of the Sphere takes about 12 days to render, which again, we talked about before. If a fighter happened to drop out a week before, guess what? They can't change that, which means they had to plan this entire thing. And keep in mind, those graphics inside and outside of the Sphere, they can't be cheap. They've got to be really expensive to render both inside and out. But even then, all this presentation, all the hologram or the holograms that they could have done, the inside presentation and all that. And forget the Sphere graphics for a second. Even the presentation, everything from the ring girls and even the people that they would have brought in to try and sell the fight a little bit more. Like again, it's all super expensive, and again, it's all a presentation thing. And at the end of the day, everybody, like MMA pundits, are like, cool. What's this got to do with UFC? Why does bringing in a Hollywood director have anything to do with the fight game? And even Dana White admitted it himself. Like anybody that tuned in, I hope they turned into a fight fan. I hope they turn it up before the main event because I think that might turn them off. All of this, all of the presentation, the Hollywood directors, the event itself, all of it. And he admits it was a little too much for what was essentially two UD wins in the main event from ground control. And again, it's not the fault of Valentina Shevchenko. It's not the fault of Merab Dvalishvili. Their job at the end of the day is to win. How that happens is up to them. If they can wow the crowd, cool. That's not their job. Their job at the end of the day is to win, and they did their job. There's no fault for them to that. But as a manager, for a manager of a company, they have to make a profit on this. They have to do all. And again, all of this, they said they were going to eat Canelo alive. They poured $20 million into this, and they only got back $2 million. They said that they were going to eat him alive. They literally bit off more than they could chew. That was it. They like at the end of the day, like you know how much $2 million, you know how much money $2 million is? That's only 8 Nelk Boy presents. Dana ain't gonna like 8 Nelk Boy presents. You're like, yo, I need to do more than this. This is nothing more than hubris and avarice. And he was trying to take away the precedence. And here's the thing that also bothers me about this. He was trying to present it as, oh, Mexico has had precedence in fighters and fighters all around the world, and we're trying to take this away, or we're trying to take all of this to the fight capital of the world. Cool. I understand Las Vegas, Nevada is the fight capital of the world, and I understand fight is a kind of a generic term, but they really mean boxing. It's a precedence in boxing. Are you really trying to tell me? You're really trying to tell me with all this presentation, all this marketing, all of that, you were really going to try and take away the precedence of people's eyes and ears, all their attention. You're really trying to take all that away from a sport that already has historical precedence in Las Vegas against one of the top stars, the top selling stars. And you think you can try and compete with that. Again, all of this is nothing but an exercise in hubris and avarice, and Dana White has nobody but himself to blame for this. Nobody else. The Turkey, yeah, he played a part in this, but Dana White was the one that took it to him first. Turkey is basically just a bankroll at this point. But Dana White was the one that said, I think I can beat this man. All the money and the best avenue that he can think he can take, because apparently he said he's out of the fight game in Nevada at this point. He said Nevada can have boxing. It's ridiculous. He's greedy, and he has nobody to blame but himself for that.
Look, man, I completely agree with you. I think that Dana White definitely bit off more than he can chew. I think that a lot of the things that Dana White said were going to happen clearly didn't happen. I think, again, he tried to go for the King. He missed, and the King took him out. Listen, I have my own beefs with Canelo Alvarez. I've said it. I've gone on record that I think he's ducking Benavidez at this point. Whether if it's for a payday or whatever other reason, it's just that's what it is. But again, You try to go up against a man in his house on his day, and you lost. I know they're going to get some of these UFC trolls, like we've gotten some of these that comment on here. Hey, the UFC, but the UFC this, but the UFC that. Doesn't matter, man. Everyone, listen, again, boxing pundits, MMA pundits, they're all saying it. It's just accepted that the UFC lost in this instant. Dana White lost. Turki Alalshikh lost. Take the L, move on, go put on great fights somewhere else. It's not that big a deal, but just make sure they're not on those 2 dates that are clearly meant for Canelo Alvarez. And with that, make sure to like, comment, hate, subscribe, DM us about the bullshit, and
Until next time, get rest and stay blessed. We'll see you on the next one.